House members cross over to the All Progressives Congress. House approves $2.85 billion external borrowing plan. And Reps advance Proceeds of Crime Amendment Bill. Welcome to You and Your Reps, the program that keeps you informed about what's happening in the House of Representatives. I am Victor Azo. Thank you for joining us. Defections are back on the floor of the House of Representatives. 6 opposition members have now pitched their tents with the governing All Progressives Congress. 5 of them from Enugu State say cracks within the PDP left them with little choice but to move.
The presence of the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Nentawe Yilwada, and Governor Peter Umba of Enugu State in plenary gave hint of a mass defection. Speaker Abbas Tajuddin read the separate defection letters of Chidi Obeta, Anayo Nwegu, Dennis Agbo, Oke Martins, and Nonlim Naji, all from Enugu State, who have left the PDP for the APC. Another lawmaker, Daniel Asama from Plateau State, also joined the APC from Labour Party, depleting the numbers of the minority caucus.
By aligning with the APC, the party steering national transformation, we are connecting our constituency to the heartbeat of national development.
The House concurred with Senate's confirmation of the service chiefs after the report of its screening committee was considered and approved.
Mr. President has done a great job. He's appointed eminently qualified people. He's appointed people who are disciplined, who have a vision, who are tactical, who are resilient, who are battle-tested. So I think it's a dawn of a new era.
At a public hearing on a bill to repeal and reenact the Birth and Death Registration Act, lawmakers advocated an electronic civil registration process that is fully digitized.
Accurate and timely registration of births, stillbirths, deaths, marriages, and other vital events is foundational to national planning.
They underpin national policy in health, education, social protection, security, and economic development.
The bill is expected to establish a unified civil registration system that provides accurate data for national planning and development.
The House of Representatives has signed off on fresh external borrowing, a total of $2.85 billion, to help the federal government meet key financial commitments under the 2025 budget. Lawmakers say the move is aimed at keeping critical projects on track.
The House, sitting at the Committee on Supply, endorsed the report of its Committee on AIDS, Loans and Debt Management to approve external borrowing by the federal government to finance key fiscal obligations. The approval covers $1.2 billion to partly finance the 2025 budget deficit of 9.2 trillion naira. It also includes $1.1 billion to refinance existing Eurobonds maturing next month and a separate Sukuk loan of $500 million for infrastructure projects. Several bills scaled second reading, including a constitution alteration bill seeking recognition of local government areas and area councils as constituent units of the Federation.
And in particular, sir, to affirm and protect the autonomy of local governments and the area councils.
A bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Recycling Regulatory Agency and for related matters, HB 2398.
Bill seeking to establish the Federal College of Orthopedic Technology and Therapy, Rome Precom, Port Harcourt, Rivers State.
Away from plenary, a mild drama occurred when officials of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board walked out on members of the House Committee on Basic Education and Examination Bodies during a sitting to look into JAMB's budget performance and remittances for 2023 and 2024. A director who represented the JAMB registrar insisted on holding the session without the presence of the media, a request denied by the panel.
Very unfortunate. While we are just on introduction.
If the National Assembly has requested that JAMB should furnish us with certain details of the income and expenditure, including whatever sources of revenue that they have gotten, and they chose to walk out on the National Assembly, then whatever gaze is open to Nigerians. We have heard of instances where is it snake or something swallowed money.
And the House of Representatives has taken another step towards strengthening Nigeria's anti-corruption laws, passing for second reading a bill to amend the Proceeds of Crime Act 2022. The amendment seeks to create a more unified framework for recovering and managing stolen assets, while also offering stronger protection for whistleblowers.
The amendments to the Proceeds of Crime Act seek to make the process of handling forfeited assets clearly defined with timelines for determination of cases. The House believes adjustments to the Principal Act will bring Nigeria's laws on forfeited assets to be in line with international standards.
It will recognize virtual assets and digital proceeds of crime by establishing a national confiscated wallet for the virtual asset to be managed by the Central Bank of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It will equally provide for whistleblower and witness protection mechanism, empowering relevant agencies to receive, investigate, and act on credible information while ensuring safety of the whistleblower.
A separate bill seeking establishment of the Nigerian FinTech Regulatory Commission also scaled second reading.
To provide clear regulatory framework for a fintech industry, ensure that operators comply with the established standard and guidelines, protect consumers by ensuring that fintech companies operate fairly.
In another resolution, the House asked the Federal Ministry of Works to undertake repairs of the Kano-Kari Highway, as dilapidated portions are reportedly facilitating criminal activities.
The road remains in deplorable conditions, inhibiting free flow of traffic. Urge the Ecological Office of the Federation to address failed portions in Sara, Gwaram local government area, Jigawa State.
Lawmakers are also working to strengthen internal security of Parliament, with the public hearing on the bill for an act to provide for the establishment and functions of the Legislative Security Directorate in the National Assembly.
We have experienced car thefts, motorcycle thefts, vandalism, fake identity cards, unwanted visitors accessing the National Assembly without documentation.
This piece of legislation, if passed, enable the Parliament do their legislative activities, which distinguish democracy and other forms of government.
The House urges state assemblies to equally strengthen their internal security systems.
The House of Representatives recently resolved to investigate the state of the $35 million modular petroleum refinery in Brass, Bayelsa State. The resolution followed the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance moved by Billy Osawaru, who represents Orionwa, Uhuode Federal Constituency of Edo State. Now, you and your reps engaged the lawmaker on the subject, and here's what we got.
Have looked closely, done some research into this. And I was really surprised that we could have a situation where money was budgeted for an initiative like this and nothing on ground to show, that this thing ever took off. So I felt it was something we needed to bring up, especially when some few moves have been made to really delve into this to find out what really took place. And it looks like it's been at a very, slow pace. It's like it's not moving. Nothing is happening. So I felt it was the time, to reawaken something like this. Why? Because we need to start showing examples. We need to start using certain projects like this I can't call it an abandoned project because it never really took off. So I believe this is the biggest sin anyone can commit against the Nigerian people and the Nigerian nation. So that is why I said this must be an urgent motion whereby we want to get to the root of this matter. Bring it out. See what really happened. Let's tell Nigerian people the story. If this thing never took off, where is the $35 million? Where do we look for this money? Because when you are talking about 50 billion naira, of course, like I stated, in my motion, that is a significant component of the national budget. At least wherever you throw 50 billion naira into right now, you should be able to see something positive that can make impact in the life of the Nigerian people. But yet, we have this kind of things. This is just one of several, that we have not even talked about. But we want to use things like this to start opening up this kind of worms so that we can discourage other people from even thinking about it. Once we are able to unearth what really took place and the needful is done as a country to see that the perpetrators are brought to book, that would discourage a lot of other people. And that is what, the developed societies do, that we don't do a lot of. Whereby when you commit a crime against the people, even if it takes 30 years to find out, they will bring you to book. They will prosecute you and do the needful. So that way, whoever wants to get into something like this will have to think twice. So that is why I felt this was very timely, considering what we are going through in this country. A lot of our people, they are under a lot of pressure. And Mr. President means well for this country. If you consider the policies he has been bringing out for the past 2 years, you see that all Mr. President needs, he needs a team that would do the right thing to make sure these policies are implemented and make the positive impact in the lives of the people. Because I'm sure that was the original intention, of bringing out this kind of policy. So here in the parliament, we just have to do our own part. And I believe, of course, as you well know, looking at our own primary responsibilities, which is lawmaking, oversight, and representation, this is one of it. We need to represent our people. When we see where something is being done that will be against their interests, we need to bring it out. And if anything that is being done or not being done, we have to talk about it. So, and I think that is part of our responsibility when it comes to oversight. And is what we are doing right now.
In parliamentary terms, a privilege refers to the special rights and immunities granted to lawmakers to help them perform their duties without fear or favor. We ask Chairman of the House Committee on Rules and Business, Francis Waive, to elaborate.
When matters of privilege is discussed in Parliament, it's a privilege you have as a member, an elected member of the House. For instance, it is criminal for any person who is not elected and sworn in to sit in this hallowed chamber and then to speak. That is why you see the sergeant at arms, the clerk, those who are recording, they will never open their mouth to say anything. Neither are strangers allowed into the hallowed chambers. It's a privilege of those who have been elected and sworn in. Privileges also include your privilege to move freely within the National Assembly premises. Anybody who tries to hinder your movement while as an elected serving member in the premises commits an offense. The Legislative Houses Privileges Act gives such privilege to members. And you have also covered to speak freely. You have immunity on whatever you say on the floor. You cannot be prosecuted in the court of law. The law provides that a parliamentarian on the floor have the privilege of speech. He can say anything, and it gives this liberty for the Nigerian people, as the case may be, to be heard. Whether you are from a minority or from anywhere, part of the country, you are able to speak unfettered. It's a privilege. And when you are denied this, your privilege has been breached. Therefore, you can come under the standing orders to seek for your privilege being breached, to be, will I use the word repaired now? Also the matters of your being falsely accused and abused, either through the press or whatever means. Or maybe a member does something that casts you in, another member in a light, that negative light, is a brief of his privilege of respect. Usually when such things come on floor, if it involves member to member, is referred to the Committee on Ethics and Privileges.
This week, on our committee segment, we catch up with Representative Billy Osawaru, Chairman of the House Committee on Cooperation and Integration in Africa. He shares insights on the committee's work, its oversight focus, and efforts to strengthen Nigeria's partnerships across the continent.
We have some agencies under us, that we oversight. And through those agencies, we'll make sure that everything that had to do with, cooperation and integration in Africa, is being carried out. For example, we have the Directorate of Technical Cooperation and Integration. They are under us. We have the African Development Bank. We have African Union itself, ECOWAS. They are all under, even the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, NEPAD. So all these are agencies, that bring about cooperation and integration, in Africa. How member, states, whether in the different regions, at the continent, at the regional level, when you talk about ECOWAS, we actually interface, to see that a lot of the parliamentary members, we are all meeting. We are talking about the challenges we have as a continent. We discuss on how we can resolve issues, especially issues that will lead to conflicts, where we cannot do things together. Especially now, there's no better time to actually have a committee like this now, because understanding, the foreign policy of some of these, developed societies, other continents, especially like in North America right now, the United States, for example. We understand now that, a lot of especially when it comes to aids, grants, and sponsorship of so many other functions. But again, we need to look inward, and that is part of what the committee does. We look inward to see how we can provide African solutions to African problems. When it comes to anything Africa, we always want to, we are supposed to always take that driver's seat, because looking at our population, we are supposed to always be there, to make this move and fight for Africa. Just like my contribution to a motion that was moved on the floor by the Deputy Speaker, where Nigeria was being mischaracterized by Senator Ted Cruz from the United States Senate. Like I said, if we allow certain things to happen to us as a country called Nigeria, we are not only failing Nigeria, we are failing Africa. Because other African countries look up to Nigeria. So that's why it's very important, the role we play when it comes to the African continent. Because when we take it further, let's say to the United Nations, at this moment, of course, Nigeria is, fighting for a seat, at the Security Council. Okay, so if we are fighting for a seat at the Security Council, then you should understand that if there's any country in Africa that will get a seat in the Security Council, Nigeria will be number one. So why is this like that? Because Nigeria plays that role already in the African continent. It didn't just start today, even if at times we lag behind. But we still can catch up, because everything we need as a country to be great, we have it. So if we are being looked upon by other African countries, then we cannot afford to fail. So that's why my own committee is so sensitive and important, that we must do everything possible to make sure we look inward and get Africa to find solutions to African problems.
And that's it on You and Your Reps this week. Join us again next time for more updates from your lawmakers in the Green Chamber. I'm Victor Azu. Thanks for watching.